Welcome back to Up Close. Joining us now, Democratic New York Congressman Adriano Espaillat. And Congressman, good to see you. Thank you for joining us on Up Close once again.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for having me once again.
Well, before we get into the weeds on some of this stuff, I want to talk to you about how you're feeling deep down. I know a lot of people out there who are watching this right now who feel terrible, who feel worried and scared deep down. And I tell people every day, on air and off air, you know, you're not alone, believe me. What does this feel like to you right now, what's happening in the world?
Yeah, it's a scary time across the world. I mean, we have the Ukraine first, with Vladimir Putin trying to shift the paradigm and geopolitics in that part of the world. And now you had this horrendous slaughter in Israel that almost caught the whole world by surprise. And so it's uncertain times, but I think the president's speech last night was reassuring, and he is committed, as I am committed, and many of my colleagues are committed to provide help to the state of Israel, as well as to provide help to the region there.
And the help to the region is that most of the people who are just living there, who are not running Gaza, don't want this either. They want peace. They want to have a family, and they want a job, and they want to have a fulfilling life, and they want to be healthy, and they don't want all this without peace.
That's correct. And part of what the president spoke about last night was not just help to Israel to protect itself, but also humanitarian aid, $10 billion of humanitarian aid to address many of these lingering issues that I think need to be addressed. And so it was a strong statement, a balanced statement, and I think one that guarantees, first and foremost, the security of Israel. Because I think the conversation starts with acknowledging really and rejecting strong rejection of what occurred to Israel on October 7th. And so from there, the conversation evolves into other things.
Right. So what happens now, and just full disclosure, of course, we're recording this on Friday afternoon. It airs on Sunday morning, so a lot could happen. We know that. All that taken into account, how do we get people to start talking about ceasefire and about living in peace rather than who's going to be the next person killed?
Well, I think that's a conversation that must be had with the main participants in the region, Israel and like-minded people that are not terrorists, and people that want peace, as you said, Bill. Most of the people living in the Gaza Strip want peace for their families, for their children. They don't want to be in the middle of war. So I think that the common good must prevail. Those folks that believe that the road to take is one of dialogue and peace must be engaged. And we are the leaders. The United States must play an important role in promoting that conversation.
You know, I've been thinking a lot about the situation we live in, you and I. We live here in New York City. We see what's happening when you have a big melting pot and all the diversity that is here and all the people trying to live together and have inspiring, fulfilled lives with their families. You know, people who come to this country like you did as a little boy, undocumented, and you eventually became a citizen and a legal citizen here, and now a congressman, the first time that's ever happened. Looking at what we're doing here and all the problems that we have and we think we have when maybe it's not as bad as it is somewhere else. And we are setting an example, despite all this stuff and all the problems we have. We set an example for opportunities. And wouldn't it be nice if other parts of the world did that as well?
This is still a beacon of hope and opportunity. In that same package, Bill, the president also included $1.4 billion for food and shelter for those migrants and for the city that's asking and begging for money, $100 million for legal assistance, right? $100 million to protect children from child labor exploitation. So we have a mission that is noble and that is one that I think inspires the rest of the world. We must continue to play that role. And we do that by acknowledging our friends like Israel and making sure that they have the right to protect themselves, but also making sure that the region is engaged in a productive dialogue that leads to peace. and addressing those lingering issues that have not been addressed for a long time.
Final question to you, Congressman. You've heard what the law enforcement agencies around the country have said about the worries they have about what could happen in the United States. New York at the center of some of that, obviously. How worried are you about that?
I think that the police department has done a tremendous job. I know the new police commissioner, and I am confident that he has. And I actually, you've seen the extra police presence in our streets, particularly in areas that could be sensitive. You know, in my neighborhood, for example, around the George Washington Bridge, you see them in front of the synagogues, you see them in front of the schools. So I think the police department has an anti-terrorist unit that's doing a great job. But, you know, we're always worried because we really don't know what to expect, but we take the measures to protect the people of the city of New York.
And we stay alert and say to the people we like, and even if we don't like them, we wish you health and peace. Yep.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Congressman. Congressman Adriano Espaillat, appreciate it. Coming up next, our political team on how this war is affecting this country.